I don't know anyone that would want to hurt her. She was as nice a person as there is.
Was she moving soon? Did you know anything about her?
Yeah. She was going to be moving out today. Why would anyone do this?
You may be forgiven to think that this man is devastated after finding out that his friend has just been murdered. But what if I told you that he is the killer? He thought that his concerned friend act would fool everyone, even the police. But he had another thing coming. This is the shocking case of the boy who dismembered his classmate and did an interview on it. Beautiful, intelligent, and popular, Lauren Giddings was going to take the legal world by storm. At 27 years old, she had already graduated from Mercer University Law School in Macon, Georgia, and was preparing to take the bar exam before finally becoming a certified defense lawyer.
Lauren going to college was huge. No one in our family had ever been to college.
Despite being hundreds of miles away from her family in Maryland, Lauren would talk to them every weekend and go home every chance she got.
She always would come home for most holidays that she could, or we'd go there, and even when she wasn't, she called home every Sunday to talk to my grandmother that lives across the field.
On June 29th, 2011, one of Lauren's sisters became concerned when Lauren didn't respond to any of her text messages.
Throughout the week leading up to Wednesday, I had called, emailed, and texted her, but it was nothing serious. So when she didn't respond, I never thought anything weird of it. It was just something that I never really needed an answer to.
She'd contacted Lauren's friends at the university to see if they had seen or heard from her, but they hadn't. Lauren lived alone in an apartment near the university, so the friends decided to go check on her. When they got there, they noticed that Lauren's car was still in the parking lot, but strangely enough, she didn't answer the door when they knocked. One of the friends, Ashley Morehouse, knew where Lauren kept her spare keys, so she unlocked the door and they went in. Everything in the house seemed intact, but something was off.
And she went in, called me back, said that all of her stuff was there, purse, keys, the car was still out front, wallet, school ID.
At this point, Lauren's friends and family knew that something was wrong, and they immediately called the police. When the police arrived, they noted that there was no sign of a break-in or anything to indicate that a struggle had taken place, but strangely, Lauren's essentials such as her wallet, laptop, and cell phone were still in the room, so where was Lauren? Police began by interviewing all of Lauren's friends and neighbors to establish a timeline of when she disappeared. Ashley, who was one of Lauren's closest friends, gave an emotional account of the last time she saw her.
When was the last time you've actually physically seen Lauren?
It would be early Saturday morning at about 4 a.m. That Friday night, we went out to the bar, and she came back to my boyfriend's place to stay for the evening.
Did you see Lauren when you woke up that morning?
No.
You're just assuming she was there?
Yes.
Did you ever see her or talk to her again?
No.
Another person who was interviewed by the police was Lauren's next-door neighbor and classmate, 25-year-old Stephen McDaniel, who was also among the people who had gone into Lauren's apartment to check on her. At one point, Stephen had asked Lauren out, but she declined since she was seeing someone else. Stephen was very forthcoming with the police, answering all of their questions and promising to help in any way he could to find Lauren.
How long have you lived next to Lauren?
Since I started law school back in, it'd be August of '08, I think.
When was the last time you think you seen Lauren?
It was either last week or the week before that.
Okay. Is there anything that you could tell me today or add to your statement that could help me locate Lauren?
I can't think of anything.
Stephen would also go on to give a TV interview to a local news station, expressing his concern for Lauren, whom he said was his friend.
We're just trying to find out where she is at this point. I mean, no one has seen her since Saturday. I mean, the last time anyone heard from her was an email that she sent out, and no one's heard from her since.
Did you see her hang out with anyone at the time, anything like that?
I mean, no one has seen her since Saturday. I haven't seen anything. I mean, you always hear noise outside, but it's just people walking by pretty much.
And she just recently graduated from Mercer?
Yeah, she and I we were both JD students, We graduated back in May.
What kind of person was she? I mean, what did you see?
I mean, she's as nice as can be. I mean, very personable, very much a people person.
Do you know any enemies she might have had, somebody that might want to hurt her?
No, we don't know where she is.
Meanwhile, investigators were going around searching for clues that might help them figure out what happened to Lauren. During their rounds, one of the detectives caught a whiff of something foul. The detectives followed the smell to a nearby trash can, which by sheer luck had not been emptied because the garbage truck was running late. When the detective opened one of the trash cans, he gasped in horror at what he saw: a woman's torso wrapped inside a plastic bag. Her head, legs, and arms were missing, and the detectives could not find them in any of the other trash cans. Although the torso was not initially identified as Lauren's, DNA results later confirmed that it was hers. What kind of monster would do this to her? Stephen learned about Lauren's remains being found during his TV interview, and his reaction was captured on camera.
What about in the parking lot area? I know they've been doing a lot of, I think that's where they had recovered the body or whatever they recovered from there.
Body?
Had you seen anything there? Had you seen anything there? I mean, we don't know if this is the same person. You know what I mean? Like, they took out a body there earlier. We don't know if it's the same person or not. So that's how we're trying to ask people if they know who lived there. Are you okay, sir?
I think I need to sit down.
The news of Lauren's body being found seemed to have hit him pretty hard, which is quite understandable given that he was her friend. Or was he? Lauren's case had now turned into a homicide investigation, and several people, including Stephen, were brought in for questioning.
You told me in your statement that you've been home all week, right? All weekend? Mm-hmm. Has anybody come visit you while you were home?
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have no friends over?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody see you this weekend that you've been home?
I don't know.
I had asked you in your statement because I've asked everyone that lives in that apartment complex if it would be all right for us to search their apartment, give me consent to search. Yeah. I'm asking that I would be there and that no one's going to search your apartment without you being present, right? Mm-hmm. And in your statement, you stated that you didn't want me to do that.
I've got several firearms that I own.
While it did take a little convincing, Stephen finally allowed detectives to search his apartment, and what they found was truly shocking. A collection of swords and guns and toilet rolls, and a stockpile of provisions, as if he was expecting some kind of apocalyptic event. There was also a pair of women's undergarments that tested positive for Lauren's DNA. But what was even more bizarre was a master key that seemed to open every apartment in the complex. When questioned about it, Stephen admitted that he had broken into 2 neighbors' apartments and stolen some stuff from them. Lauren had previously mentioned to her sister that she suspected that someone had been inside her apartment. After this confession, Stephen was arrested for burglary and brought in for further interrogation.
I gotta ask you a few questions. You came down earlier tonight, me and you talked, all right. You don't have any weapons on you, do you? No. That's just you are. What's wrong? You know I'm Detective Patterson, right?
Yes.
Do you remember? Put your hands up here. You remember us talking earlier tonight, right?
Yes.
You remember me earlier in the day?
Yes.
When we came down here and talked a little bit and then we left?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, notice how his demeanor has changed since his last interview. Experts have explained this weird, zombie-like behavior could either be some sort of mental breakdown or a ploy to throw off the detectives. Either way, it is really creepy, and you can tell that the detective is also weirded out by it.
I need to know about this girl right here. You know her?
Yes.
Who is that?
Lauren Giddings.
Does she live next door to you?
Yes.
When's the last time you seen her?
2 or 3 weeks ago.
Okay. Was you friends with Lauren?
Yes.
Look at me when talking, son.
Stephen would maintain this act all throughout the interrogation, answering almost every question with either a yes, a no, or I don't know. The detectives tried every trick in the book to get him to talk, with another detective even coming in to help, but Stephen remained consistent with his monotone answers.
Where's that little girl, Stephen?
I don't know.
Stephen, you know. You're going to look at this right here, this little girl right here, and you're going to say you don't know? I know you know.
I don't know.
Yes, you know. What are you going to say tomorrow when I say we got your hair? What are you going to say to me then? Because you know, like I go like that. Look at my hair. That's how easy it falls out. Look at all that on your head.
While the interrogation ended without Stephen ever saying anything to incriminate himself, the detectives already had more than enough evidence to charge him with Lauren's murder.
He had in his possession both the master key and a key to her apartment. He had a flash drive that belonged to her that contained hundreds of her personal photos. His computer history showed an interest in her Facebook and LinkedIn pages, and sometimes would be searching for images of her around the same time that he was looking up violent pornography.
And, like that's not already creepy enough, investigators found a deleted video in his computer that turned out to be footage of someone looking through Lauren's window on the night she was murdered.
He took a wooden pole and he duct taped that camera to the end of the pole, and then he held the pole up really high to peek inside her window.
On top of all this, investigators also found a hacksaw in the supply closet of the building that had red stains that matched Lauren's DNA. The packaging box for the exact same hacksaw was found inside Stephen's apartment alongside a red-stained sheet that would also test positive for Lauren's DNA. As the evidence continued piling up against him, Stephen finally pleaded guilty to Lauren's murder, giving a chilling account of how everything happened. Apparently, on the morning of June 25th, at around 4:30 a.m., he entered Lauren's apartment wearing a mask and found her in bed. He went on to say that she saw me and said very calmly, "Get the F out." Stephen said that he leaped across the bed and grabbed her by the neck and started choking her. Lauren fought back with everything she had, and the two tumbled out of bed to the floor, and in her struggle to get away, she moved her legs and lower body under her bed, preventing her from moving or kicking him. In the struggle, Lauren managed to pull off Stephen's mask, and when she saw that it was him, she reportedly said, "Stephen, please stop." But he didn't. He continued choking her until she was dead, and then dragged her body to the bathroom and left her there. He waited until midnight and then came back with the hacksaw and dismembered her body. He then placed her limbs and head in various trash cans throughout the area. Tragically, they have never been recovered.
He pleaded to breaking into Lauren's apartment, to killing her, to moving her to the bathroom, to taking her body apart, to hiding it, to ripping up evidence and putting it down the toilet, cleaning up everything, and then acting like she was still alive.
Stephen was sentenced to life imprisonment and will not be eligible for parole until 2041. What do you think about this case? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.